Hi, everybody. I hope you're as excited as I am. Every time I start a new painting, we're going to tackle stencils with modeling paste for our first thing. And I find this fascinating, and there's so much you can do with them. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Oh, I might have one already opened. So I'm going to just pick out a nice glop of my paste. Pick out one of my stencils. I'm not always good at cleaning my things because I'm always creating and in a rush. And what I'm going to do is just rub my modeling paste. My brand is Liquitex, but any will do. And I'm going to go over it like buttered bread. And I want these to stand up, so I'm going to put it on quite heavy. And then you just bring it up. And look at that. I love this. I think it's great. Now, I like to create patterns in my abstracts with the stencils. I like to join them up. And you don't have to use the whole stencil. You can do a partial part of the stencil. See how I left that part undone? And in that way I can create a curve or start to create a different type of pattern with the same stencil. Like maybe here I'll just use 2 squares coming up. There. I like that a lot. I'm going to keep going with this. And in this way you can see how I build a painting with stencils, maybe even being the main part. See how fast and easy it lays down too. Just buttering the bread, frosting the cake. Lift. And I'm going to hold this up for you so you can get a really good look at it. And check that out. I hope you like it. So far, I do. So let's keep going along. Do I want to change stencils? Maybe. So I'm going to wipe this down. And I can just use another palette knife to do that right on my newspaper. There. That's good enough for now. Now maybe I'll move to one of these rounder stencils right here. Well, let's see what this gives me. Come up from this other corner. Start doing a little bit of balance. there. Oh, look at that. Alright, can you see that? I like that a lot. So I think I'm gonna do some more of this, maybe some overlap. I hope it doesn't smush the other. It could happen, but let's see. Oh, look at that. That'll take a little practice for you. You see how I just laid it partially down? And you can re-scoop this stuff on the sides, working it in the cracks. Yeah, that looks great. Again, like, I don't want this to go into the little waffle squares, so I'm gonna hold it up where I don't want it to go any further. All right. Maybe I get one going right here. See, we got a nice base for an abstract painting there. And let me show you another little something we can do. We'll lay a little bit of paste on. And we can just make some texture. First texture I like to make is a stucco type look. I'm going to put that in there like that. I think that goes along well with what I got. I'm going to run some through to tie it all in together. And I'm going to put it to the side and let it dry. And move on to another. And this was actually just a piece of gessoed heavy cardboard, because it's really just teaching purposes right now. Watch it come out and be one of my best, something like that. I wouldn't doubt if that happened. Yeah, I've got some great texture going here. And that's a lot of what you want your modeling paste for, is texture. Three-dimensional stuff. Yeah, I love the way it looks. So I'm gonna put that one to the side. You don't want to put, and this is only my opinion, you have your own sense of style and imagination. I don't want to crowd it with any more than this right now. So I'm going to put that to the side to dry. And I'm going to show you another thing I like to do. Another of my tricks. Now, I haven't seen many people do this. I take a bunch of the modeling paste. I kind of found this out on my own just by playing. And what I'm going to do is just smooth this out. Alright, but see how you can't get, you're getting all this texture, which this is beautiful texture. This could be a nice tree bark just by running your palette knife up and down like that. You get a nice tree bark, see? But what I want to do, I want to smooth it out. So I have to use my hands, and I'm going to wet them. And look how I can get that nice and smooth. And the more I rub, the more I can get it like glass. Now I have a nice smooth finish to work with. But if I wanted smooth, I could have used just the canvas. Of course, it would make a nice background for some. You could do a watercolor on this as is. You know, that might be a nice texture to do with watercolor or acrylics in that style, just for something different. But what I want to do is emboss into it. And so I'm going to wet the tool. And I'm going to press it in. I'm going to give it a little bit of a wiggle and peel it up. And look at that. That's a beautiful texture. You see that? But your stuff has to be wet. It should be smooth because you're not going to see the designs if you've already got wrinkles in there. So again, I can press. And every time, really, I want to wet that down. Look at that. I just love that. So, that's a bit of embossing there, but now what if I took, and I got this weird little cup in some kit, and I'm gonna roll another pattern. This one, I think, it's like a herringbone or something. That didn't work out as, oh, I forgot to wet it, and that's why. Has to be wet. Let's see what happens. There we go. Can you see that pattern? That's what I was looking for. And I like that a lot. So there's lots of places you can find these little patterns, even on the bottom of shoes. It usually has some really neat patterns. If they're clean, you could stamp them on there. Let's see what else we got. We can also take the little cup or anything, caps. I save caps of all sizes and shapes and stuff just for this reason. And you can come in, but by having it smooth, you can show your patterns, and you couldn't if it wasn't perfectly smooth. Okay? That's a really neat pattern right there. I'll do something on the other side to match, sort of, kinda. And I'm just putting that on nice and thick with my hand. About 1/8 of an inch. Now the wet down. And some more pattern, and at this point I think I'll pretty much let it match, at least here. Maybe I'll change it up right up here. Use this other side. Oh, gotta make sure it's wet. Alright, I think I like the other side better. So you'll find you have different ones that you like better than others with stencils, what works best and all. Mainly I'm looking for that really neat texture, and I've got a really nice other piece here. And just wait till I start to color it, okay? So again, we're going to put that down to dry. Okay, because I'm only teaching, I'm going to show you how to do a granular, like a rocky type texture. Instead of just the stucco, we're going to create much more textures that look like nature, rocks, cracks. And so I'm going to just cover this all with this stuff. Again, it's only a thick cardboard, but that's okay, because we're just learning. I wouldn't do this on my good pieces. Okay, now one of the things we can do is cover this up with some saran wrap. And gotta wipe my hand off, so 1 second. Okay. Messy stuff, but I love messy stuff. Maybe you don't and you can wear gloves. Now again, I think what I'm gonna do is wet this down. And maybe I even need a bit more, some spots. And there we go, it's getting quite slippery. You'll feel it's ready when the whole thing feels slippery and your hand is gliding over it. Then you'll know it's ready to imprint or do this next step that we're gonna do. And so we're gonna lay some wrap on top of it. And this one I'm gonna lay just nice and flat. Now I can, it's kind of smooth, but most of all what I can do is I'm gonna take some of this paper here, newspaper, and I'm gonna crumple it up. And I'm gonna press in some jaggedy textures right in here. Yeah. And you see how you can get all this, that's much different than the stucco. Maybe we even want to take our knives and just kind of hit down. See the neat kind of geological things we can get. You can play with, you know, whatever. It would have to be sturdy though to make an imprint. So even like if I wanted to take some of this paper and see what this would give me. If I stamp like this. See, you never know what you're gonna get. And now we can peel this off. And look at that. Now that's gonna be a really neat substrate to paint on later. All right, so there we got something organic looking. And we'll put this one to the side to dry, and I'll show you more.